Good morning all, this is AJ and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to episode 2 of the A to Z of my Blu-ray and 4K collection. Let's get on with it. Okay, so this is part 2, like I said. This is looking at all the Blu-rays and 4Ks I have, starting with the letter A. Now this is something I've wanted to do for a while since I began the channel. Just never got around to it, and thusly I've decided to do it now. Time sort of felt right, so got a bit to get through, so let's get on with it. So the first title I have, which was a CEX pickup because I ain't taken the things off yet, is Apocalypse Now. This special edition on Blu-ray with all this bump in it. It cost me 10 quid. Thought it was well worth it. So yeah. And I have the Blu-ray of Ad Astra, a film I did enjoy, so much so that I then went and picked up the 4K version from CEX as well, because I wanted to watch it in 4K. About a boy, Hugh Grant. Now, this, I was quite late to seeing this film, weren't long ago I watched it. I'd seen the TV series prior to this, which I much prefer than the film. Then I have the Alfred Hitchcock collection. Obviously this has got a load of films on it. 14 Alfred Hitchcock movies. Obviously it's sat under the A's. Nicole Kidman, Hugh Jackman, Australia, film I've still yet to watch. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Aftermath. Anna. The Alita Battle Angel. Wonderful cast in this one. Tom Hanks, Apollo 13. A Star is Born. A remake with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, special encore edition version. Fantastic film. £2 pickup, Army of One, Nicolas Cage. The Aftermath, £3, CEX, still got to watch this. And American Psycho. Got another copy of this, we'll come to that. Artificial Intelligence, AI. I really enjoyed this film. It really worked for me. Steven Spielberg. The Arrival in 4K. This is an import version that I got from the US. We have Ava. So one of those throwaway action films. It was okay. Assassin's Creed with a lenticular sleeve. I never made it through the film. And we have Aeon Flux. Charlize Theron. Won't be the first time you see this pop up. Bug's Life, 4K. And Ants. Out of the two, at the time when they first came out, I've not watched them for a while, I preferred Ants. That was one of them years where you had two films of the same ilk come out, like you did around that time with quite a lot of stuff. And then we have Angel Has Fallen in 4K. Yeah, part of the Olympus trilogy, or the Fallen trilogy, shall we say. Alien Covenant. We will come to the other Alien films. These are in no particular order. And the first Anchorman. The Legend of Ron Burgundy. Next up we have DC's Aquaman. Nice shiny box on that one. It's a Blu-ray release. I also got the 4K, which looks fantastic. Really does in 4K. It really jumps out the screen HDR. It looks superb. Then Holly Hunter, Richard Dreyfuss and John Goodman in Always, which is a film very much like Ghost. Very, very good film from Steven Spielberg. One of his forgotten ones. Arachnophobia. A fantastic film. Alien Nation, James Caan. Seth MacFarlane, A Million Ways to Die in the West, a film in which hardly any of the jokes landed for me, and I love Family Guy. This just, yeah, it didn't work for me at all. Mads Mikkelsen in Arctic, even though it's sealed still, I have seen the film, very good. One of them survival stories. Mel Gibson, Apocalypto. Obviously you can see where it came from. Same with this, As Above, So Below. Still sealed, not watched it. Kevin Spacey, Annette Bening, American Beauty. I have seen this film even though it's still sealed, but I picked it up for £2. Will Smith and Jaden Smith. Not a particularly great movie at all. Ben Affleck, The Accountant. Very good film. Robert De Niro and Robin Williams, Awakenings. Fantastic, fantastic movie if you haven't seen this. Very good. Another one I've still yet to watch is American Assassin. Another one I ain't watched. Antonio Banderas, Automata. Again, just £2 pickup. And an import from Germany, The Avengers. The Ralph Fiennes, Uma Thurman, Sean Connery, based on the 1960s TV series of the same name that is the reason why in this country the Avengers was the Marvel Avengers was renamed Avengers Assemble. So moving on, we now have The Adjustment Bureau, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt. Very good film, really enjoyed it. Harrison Ford, Air Force One. Die Hard on a Plane, where Harrison Ford is the US President. Gary Oldman is the villain. Then we have Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard in Allied. American Hustle. Picked this up for £1 back when Poundland were actually doing Blu-rays for £1 at the time before they upped them to £2. Tom Cruise, American Made. Very enjoyable film. Annihilation. Natalie Portman. Very good also. There's a 4K version, but I don't have it on 4K. And a £2 pickup, Apollo 18. I have seen it, even though it's sealed, but I don't really remember it at all. And one of my favourite films of all time, Armageddon. I love this film. 1998 came out. Which I thought was brilliant. And I have a lot of fun with it. And we have A Quiet Place. Now, Quiet Place, I don't have A Quiet Place 2. I've got no intention of picking it up. I didn't enjoy it. I like this film for what it was. I like John Krasinski. I thought he'd done a wonderful job directing and acting in it. However, the film series leaves me with loads of questions about the world, the rules of the world, and this sort of a thing, and the rules of the creatures. And it just, the second one more so than the first one, it is worse in that sense. I just don't, yeah, they're not particularly great. John Krasinski done some of the writing on the second one. and I think that in itself was an issue. He should have just stayed behind the camera. Yeah, but there you go. Then we have Arrival. I did show a 4K version of this earlier. I'd had this version first, and then the 4K I managed to get cheap imported. Well, not imported, but someone was selling it, you know, on eBay, and it had already been imported. Then we have one of my favourite John Carpenter films of all time, Assault on Precinct 13. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful film. Yeah, the ice cream truck scene with a girl is shocking. There's a sort of air of paranormal about the film, in the sense that you got all these gangs working together that never would have done at the time to assault this police station. So there's this sort of, although it's not paranormal or anything like that, it kind of feels very much like that in the essence of the film, but it's not. Hard to explain, but yeah, it's a fantastic film. Love it. Just moving into a bit of Marvel territory now. Avengers Assemble. I don't think I need to say anything about these films. Avengers Age of Ultron. I do have the 4K Mondo Steelbook. It's just arrived at my dad's place. I've not picked it up yet. But when this airs, it will be in hand and I'd have done an opening. Ant-Man, first one. Enjoyed that immensely. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah, this era of Marvel films I really enjoyed. Avengers Infinity War. And Avengers Endgame. A few steelbooks now. Amanda Seyfried and Clive Owen in A Non, German release steelbook, yet to watch the film. And we have Alice Through the Looking Glass. I got this cheap, even though it's sealed. I've seen the film and I do have it on standard Blu-ray, which we'll come to. Another version of AM Flux, steelbook version. Alien Covenant in steelbook, 4K. AVP, Alien vs Predator. Alien vs Predator Requiem, steelbook. And then for some reason, I have two of these. I think they're Poundland pickups, Angry Birds steelbook edition. Why I got two, I don't know. And Austin Powers International Man of Mystery steelbook. I love this steelbook, it looks fantastic. Then we have Avengers, the Mondo steelbook version. Ant-Man, 4K steelbook. And Blu-ray 3D Ant-Man, which I primarily bought because I like the case. Then we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, 4K steelbook. Start on it. A little bit of. And Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War steelbook edition. Still not there. So next up we have Airplane, the comedy. This is in those VHS style cases, but obviously it's a Blu-ray edition. Picked that up cheap. I do think Naked Guns are better. I think this isn't particularly great, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people feel otherwise, but for me, it was always a Naked Gun over that. Then we have this special collector's edition of American Psycho. This is a 4K version of the film. And a film I still keep meaning to watch, and I haven't, Archive. In a sort of film book version from Germany. And we have 4K version of Akira. and a 4K version of Almost Famous, the collector's edition set. And back to the Avengers Endgame in this steelbook in here, in this box that lights up when you press the button. Cool. Next up, Anaconda, Jennifer Lopez film. There is a release of this coming out very soon, with all three of them in. I've got it on pre-order. And we have this edition of The A-Team, based on the 1980s TV series of the same name. Romero, American Werewolf in London. Then we have triple feature of all three Austin Powers movies, which I love. I love all three of these. I can watch them all back to back. I know people have issues getting into the sequels, but for me they're all a lot of fun. Very funny films. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective and When Nature Calls. Jim Carrey. Now I did show the first one of this earlier, Anchorman 2. I know again a lot of people had issues with this film, and I didn't. I thought it was a lot of fun. We have American Pie, 1, 2, 3 and Reunion. Obviously there were a lot of American Pie straight to DVD, straight to video films after this, none of which are particularly worth getting. These are the primary four, the only four really worth having. American 3 being American Wedding, American Pie 3, American Wedding. And then we have A Monster Calls, a truly fantastic film, starring Sigourney Weaver, Felicity Jones, the voice of Liam Neeson. Yeah, very touching, moving film. If you haven't seen it, worth watching. So now, moving on and getting towards the end. First up, we have 4K version of Atomic Blonde. Charlize Theron, James McAvoy, based on the graphic novel series. Then we have standard Blu-ray for Alien Covenant. 4K I acquired both of them, the steelbook and that cheaper later on. And obviously the classic Alien, which makes me wonder, because I do have it on 4K and I haven't shown it. I have it 4K somewhere. Ah, 4K's in the slip. Yeah, what I'd done was I'd sold the standard version off, but I kept the slip cover and put the 4K into the slip with, got these little postcards which came with the Blu-ray. Wondered where that was. Then we have the Alien Anthology Blu-ray box set, Alien 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we have this version of AVP, the collector's box set, 2 AVP films. Then I have AVP Requiem, import version, which I couldn't play at the time. A player wouldn't play imported discs. It can now. So then I'd got the Alien vs Predator 2 German extended version, because that one I couldn't play at the time. Now, when you compare these versions to this, the second one on here, this is it 17 minutes longer or something like that? It's a far superior film, Alien vs Requiem, in the extended cut. Although I still can't see nothing, but it's a much better film. It fleshes out, the story makes more sense, fleshes stuff out with the Predator. A lot more Predator is in it. Predator was cut quite a bit actually. Worth picking up if you like the film and you haven't seen it in its extended format. It was released, I don't know if it even got a Blu-ray release in this country, extended. Can't remember. but I mean a DVD extended release, or if that was Region 1, can't recall, but anyway, so that's those. And then I have the extended edition of Argo Special Collector's box set, still sealed. Well, I've seen the film, didn't get round to opening this and rewatching it. And then from the kids section, we have Alice in Wonderland, in a special edition with some art cards in there, which are still sealed, the cards are. And Alice Through the Looking Glass. And also Ultimate Avengers. I know it's a U for Ultimate, but it's an Avengers film, animated, the two of them on one disc, based on the Ultimate Avengers comic book from Marvel. Yeah. So I think that's it for all of the A's now, but inevitably I might have missed something, who knows. So I'm going to do mop-up sessions at the end of each episode, and that's what I'm going to come into now, because obviously last week I'd done my number films. Thusly, I have some here that I'd missed, because I've got stuff in different places, and you know, I have different sections and this sort of thing, and you just sort of bypass stuff, and I missed out on quite a few actually, which is surprising. So first up is the Arrow release of 12 Monkeys. I do have the TV series as well, but I'm going to hold them off until at the very end. I'll do a TV section when I get past Z. So yeah, 12 Monkeys, Arrow release, steelbook. Then we have 300 in this 4K special edition release, like so. And also have a standard Blu-ray of 300 and 300 Rise of the Empire. Now the reason I forgot 300 is because they're in my comic book section, because obviously this is based on 300 is based on the Frank Miller graphic novel, and it was sort of butted up against the shelf, and I don't know, just missed it. And then last but not least is 7500, airplane film starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. The whole film is pretty much set in the cockpit of the plane. This was just in amongst films I've got on the side that I haven't yet sort of alphabetised. See, that's the problem. I've got all my films alphabetised on the shelf. I say all of them, about half of them. But then when you get a new one, it's that sort of, oh, you got to make space, move everything along, and that doesn't really work. I never used to alphabetise films. I had my own way of doing it. Now I still do, in the sense that there are Marvel stuff, DC stuff all together, but any standard films are all alphabetised. But I've got a small horror section, a comedy section, kids section, that sort of a thing. But all the films within are just like in alphabetical order. But before, when I had them in another room, I had them in an order that worked for me, so much so that I could pretty much go and tell someone what shelf something was on, and almost how far along that film was in, 16, go to second unit, shelf 4, 16 in, I had it all up there. But now that I've alphabetised them, it's pretty horrible, really. But there you go. And it sort of looks it looks messier, to be honest. But there you go. Anyway, so that was it. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll be looking at B, the letter B. So come back, join me for that. And yeah, so this is AJ. Thanks for watching. Please consider hitting the subscribe button, hitting the notification bell, giving me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, all that sort of stuff. Just to let you know, I do have films like The Army of Darkness, but they'll be in the Evil Dead section. It's difficult, when you're dealing with franchises, but I'll sort of do it in such a way that works best for me anyway. So we'll cover everything as it is. Anyway, it's AJ. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Take care and goodbye.